Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea, and I'm so happy that you're here today. As you can see, we are choosing our February TBR today, and we are using our trusty TBR jar. Mine's actually a mug, but it's bookish. It works. And I've got a few plans in February. So here are a couple of things that we've got going on that we want to focus on when choosing our TBR. One, it's Valentine's Day, so I want to read some romances. Yay. Two, romantasyathon is happening in February for 1 week. I think it's February 15th through the 22nd. This readathon is hosted by Tori Between Pages. I will link the announcement video down below so you can join in if you would like, but we are focusing mostly on romantasy during that week. So that's number two. Number three, I am doing a little cozy weekend away with some of my girlfriends, and I'm obviously going to want to bring books that I can read quickly and enjoy reading, like binge reading in a couple of sittings, so I can get through more books on my TBR during that weekend. So those are the three things that we want to keep in mind when choosing for our TBR. I'm going to pick 6 books, and this month I'm going to bend the rules a little bit. The main focus of this TBR video is to read books off my physical TBR. We know that I want to read most of these this year. However, we're bending the rules a little bit because of those 3 things. So I am going to consider books from Kindle Unlimited as well as books from the library that I already have or have already put on hold. So not additional books that I could get at the library, but books that I'm already considering or have on hand currently. So those are the 2 little qualifiers. Let's go ahead and choose our first book. To be honest, I don't know kind of what I want to read. I'm feeling more like things in this area. Also, you'll notice I have a book from January's TBR still on here. I didn't get to the winners in January because Onyx Storm ruined me a little bit. But we are planning to read this in February. So if I get it on the TBR, that would be amazing. But let's go ahead and pick our first book. This prompt is 1-word title. If you can read that, let's see if I have any that are 1-word titles. None in the front. That's very sad. Okay, I don't have any 1-word titles in this first top section at all. I do have Ray Bear, that's 1 word. I have Vicious, that's 1 word. I don't know if I want to read that right now. Speak is 1 word. Let's see what's on the back of this card. I really don't have a lot of 1-word titles. Oh, this is such a bummer. Pachinko, I'm definitely not choosing that. I do have 1 book that I put on hold at the library. That's my book club pick for next month that we already know by now, but I feel like that's cheating a little bit, and I'm very far down the wait list that I think I'll end up having to buy it, and that book is James by Percival Everett. So that could be an option. I'm using my library rule for that one. Let me go see the other library books I have to see if I have any that are 1-word title, or we can also look on Kindle Unlimited to see if there's a romantasy book that I am considering reading for romantasyathon that I could also put on this TBR. Okay, so 1 book that I have on my KU TBR was Never Keep by the Twisted Sisters, but I actually think that's 2 words, which is unfortunate. But 1 book we do have on here is Air by Sabaa Tahir. I checked this out from the library. It's due back really soon, but I also have this one on my Kindle. So this is going to be our winner for this prompt. I'm very excited to get this, but I think I've been putting it off because I'm also very nervous. I hear we get our heart broken a little bit. And this is set in the same world as the Ember and the Ashes series, which is one of my all-time favorites, but it's 20-ish years, I think, in the future. And I'm stoked. I'm stoked for this. This is nice to actually have on a TBR. So first choice is Air by Sabaa Tahir. Let's pick our second prompt. A chunky book. Okay, well, I know exactly which one I'm going to pick. We are going to be reading The Winners in February. I am buddy reading this with a couple of people, and we all did not finish it in January, so this is going back on the TBR, and I am very nervous about this one as well, but I am sure I will finally get to read it. This is on my winter TBR. It was on my January TBR. It's going to be on my February TBR. We're going to get this off the TBR next month. Wow. This is a heavy TBR so far. We're only two in, and I'm already like feeling nervous. Okay, let's pick prompt number 3. This says last book in a series. I'm trying to think if I have a last book in a series. Certainly not on this cart. I'm gonna need to get my book journal for this. Okay, based on my series tracker, I don't have a lot that are ready to be finished. Like the books aren't out yet, or I still have several books to read before I get to the last one. I will say I have one on my TBR, and this might be cheating a little bit, but it is a series, it's a duology. And I do have the second book in the duology, and that is Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is the sequel to Better Than the Movies, and I've heard like mixed things about this book. I'm really excited because I feel like I'm really gonna like vibe with this book based on what I've heard so far. But we're basically following Liz and Wes, who get together at the end of Better Than the Movies, and then they go off to college. I think Wes is dealing with some things, possibly some grief. Maybe he loses someone or something. And they go through some things. I feel like they may have broken up and they're trying to find their way back to each other. That makes me so nervous and like so sad for Wes and Liz. But this is also set in LA. I believe they go to UCLA and I live in LA. So I thought that would be fun to like, I love books that are set in my city. I feel like you get like a little bit of insight into what's happening in the book because you know the place where they're talking about. So I'm excited to have this on the TBR. I wanted to read this on my girls' weekend, so I'm really happy that this is on the official TBR. This is book number 3. Let's pick prompt number 4. This just says a romance, and I could not be happier with this pick. Wow, killed it. I'm so happy. Okay, I think I know exactly the book that I want to pick, and that is going to be Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I am a little like hit or miss with this author. I don't think cowboy romances are for me, but I think this is a billionaire single dad romance, and that calls to me. So I hope that this is a win for me. I also know that it's really long. It's almost 450 pages, which I just don't think a romance should be that long, but we're going to give it a try. This is also on Kindle Unlimited, I believe, so I could read it on my Kindle as well. I saw this at the library books sale and it was like $1, so I had to grab it. It's also in near perfect condition, so go me for finding this book, but I had this on my want to put on my February TBR, so I'm glad it is officially on my TBR. That is 4 books. Let's go ahead and pick our 5th prompt. A reread. This is so perfect. Wow, this TBR is just lining up for me, let me tell you. The one I'm going to pick is already on this card. We are going to be rereading Pride and Prejudice. This is a buddy read for me with a couple of girls that I'm going on my trip with. So we are reading this book before we get there, and then we're going to watch the movie together. And I'm actually planning on annotating this book. So this could not have been a better pick for me. I'm thrilled. I've read this book several times. It's one of my all-time favorites, like top 5 for sure. This is the original Enemies to Lovers. I love it so much. Like if you have not read this book and you like romances, go read this book. I'm so stoked. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to get back with Darcy and Elizabeth. I could not have picked a better TBR for myself so far. Like killing it. Okay, last and final pick, number 6. Free pick. Are you joking? What a month. My goodness, this totally worked out for me. I wasn't even going to film this video because I was like, there's no way I'm going to get all the books that I want to read for these various things on this TBR. And this just worked out for me like so perfectly. Next month is going to bite me. I know it, but I'm going to take it for this month. I have to figure out what I want to read. Okay, my top picks so far would be Throne of the Fallen, Once Upon a Broken Heart, or The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. And I'm leaning towards The Games Gods Play. I have several friends who are going to read this in February, and I wanted to read it for romantasyathon. It's been on my mind for quite a while, so I feel like this is the one that's calling to me right now. I might read Throne of the Fallen and Once Upon a Broken Heart as well, but I at least want to get this one on the TBR because I want to make sure that I actually get to it. So, final pick, The Games Gods Play. Okay, it says, the gods love to play with us mere mortals, and every 100 years we let them. For the first time ever, the ruthless, mercurial king of the underworld has entered the crucible, the deadly contest the gods hold to determine a new ruler to sit on the throne of Olympus. But instead of fighting their own battles, the gods name mortals to compete in their stead. I'm so excited for this. I love when we have Hades as a romantic interest, and I believe he is like the MMC in this book. And then our FMC, of course, is going to be a player in the Crucible. Like I'm so excited. I have heard mixed things about this book. I'm just going in for like a good time. I want a really good time. I want to really enjoy myself reading this, and I feel like this is going to deliver on that. All right, I'm going to see if I can rearrange our book cart a little bit to get my TBR in one spot, and then we'll review the books on my February TBR. Our February TBR is The Games Gods Play, Pride and Prejudice, Wild Love, Air, Nothing Like the Movies, and The Winners. Well, there you have it, the February TBR. I am so stoked for this TBR. Like, I could not be more excited about the reading happening next month. And I feel like it's going to be a really great month of reading for me. And I hope it is for you as well. Leave a little note in the comments down below if you have read any of these books that maybe I should bump up to the top of the February TBR. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't already, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you a part of this little community of mine. I hope you have the most wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one soon. Bye.